Hi there, I'm here to introduce you to Green Green Rocky Road with some inverted chords. This video is intended to give you just a little bit of an introduction to it and some exercises to be sure to practice before you dive into the whole song. If you feel comfortable with it, feel free to skip over to the play along video. That is perfectly fine as well. For starters, let's go over the chords that we need for this song. We're in the key of C. My standard C chord here though, I'm going to play with my index finger. I don't usually do that, but all of my chords are going to be on the 3rd fret or above, and so I actually want to position my hand up the neck a little bit to tackle all of those chords. Notice that I'm still balancing the neck here, not so much on my knuckle, but kind of somewhere between the first 2 knuckles of my index finger so that I can bend it down. And notice that the angle is no longer a 45 degree, it's more of like a much smaller angle here. I'm almost coming straight down onto that A string, since that's the only string I need to touch. So just be mindful of that, make sure you feel good about that. On the verses, we're going to be going back and forth between this standard C and an inverted G7. That sounds like this. What I've done is taken that index finger here on the 3rd fret of A, hopped it over to the 3rd fret of E, and then I've taken my middle and my ring and extended them to the 5th fret, I know because there's a little dot right here to help me mark it, to the 5th fret of the C and the A string, respectively. So you'll want to feel good about going back and forth between the two. And those are your verses, basically back and forth between those chords, obviously in the correct rhythm for the song. When we get to the chorus, we're going to add an inverted C chord. Sounds like that, up on the 7th fret. What I've done for that is, if you're familiar with the G chord, remember the G chord is the 2nd fret of C and A, my index and middle respectively, with my ring finger on the 3rd fret of E. Down here I'm going to take that same shape, I'm going to move it up so that the index and the middle are on the 7th fret and the ring finger is on the 8th fret. And it gives me this nice C chord. And what you'll want to be sure to be familiar with is going from this inverted C to the inverted G7 to the standard C. And what I recommend you do for this is a little looping exercise. So again, if you need any help going back and forth between standard C and G7 or inverted C and inverted G7, I would pause here and do a little ready, set, go between those. I think everybody's familiar with that. But once you feel good about that, then we're going to try to put it into a bigger context for the chorus. What we're going to do is loop the standard C chord to the inverted C chord to the inverted G7 back to the C. And I'll show you how I do this. This isn't in the rhythmic context of the song itself, but it is in the order. We're going to be moving sort of in this circle a little bit in this song, and this is just going to give us a chance to get used to those chords in a certain rhythm that is like the song, but not exactly like the song. It's just another kind of in-between step as we get there. I would definitely recommend working on this exercise a little bit before you dive into the song itself for the first time. Or if you're finding you're struggling with the song and you need to come back to kind of finesse it in this exercise, that works really nicely too. So try this with me. I'm going to start on my C chord and I'm going to count to 4. In that 4 beats, I'm going to make sure I'm up on my inverted C so I can strum again on 1, and so on and so forth around the circle. I'll give it a try. Feel free to watch and listen and join in whenever you're comfortable. 1, 2, standard C, 1, 2, inverted C, 1, 2, inverted G7, 1, 2, standard C, 1, all again on standard C, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. One more time, and notice I'm leaving really early. 1, move, 3, 4, 1, move, 3, 4, 1, move, 3, 4, 1. And just pause there for a second. So I encourage you to move as soon as you need to. It's not about letting the sound ring out or making it a beautiful sounding chord. It's just about feeling good about moving from each spot to the next. When you feel good about that, let's keep it at 4 beats per chord, but we're going to add in a second strum like this. 2, ready, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, strums each. And a 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1. It might be easier here just to add the strum pattern. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. Whatever works for you. One more time around the circle here with the strum pattern. Step, try just 2 beats each. 1, 2, switch, 1, 2, switch, 1, 2, switch, 1. Again. 1, 1. One more time. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Pause right there. Now that last part, that's really bringing in that rhythmic context a little bit shorter, but keep in mind when you look at the chorus, there are some chords that are just 2 beats, not a full 4. There's a combination of them in the chorus, so this just makes sure that you know you can get from one chord to the next every 2 beats if you have to. It's kind of nice to be able to move faster than you need to, because then it just opens up that much room in your mind and your memory to remember when to make the move so you get there by that first beat. So if you really want a challenge, you can try it 1 beat each. That a couple times around and you will be golden on this song. So feel free to use any of these exercises. Just a quick reminder, you want to be sure you feel warmed up with these chords, especially since a lot of them are new, before you go on to the play along video. But when you're ready, we'll move on and see you there.